So this is a note from me in editing. While recording, I don't know what happened, but my audio became extremely noisy. I have tried my hardest to fix it, but do know that the recording was split into two segments, and only the first one is broken, despite nothing having actually changed between recording sessions. So, that's why my audio sounds the way it does. I also have to mic check. Okay. It's recording now.
Alright, I'm recording that too.
Alright, I'm recording.
Alright.
3, 2, 1, go.
Sync! What the fuck? Why'd you say go?
I don't know. It's just what felt right, okay?
Alright.
But, welcome to episode 9 of the Triple Baka podcast. I have not watched anything the past week, and neither has Sayu. However.
How do you know that?
Well,
because
Sayu?
you never watch anything.
That's...
Yeah, it's true.
That's a bit... That's a bit,
No.
Presumptuous?
Yeah, that's the way.
But I'm right.
Yeah, no. Nyuu is right. Sayu, watch anime.
No. I refuse. You fucking
me,
weeps.
The only person on this podcast who likes anime, apparently.
But I'm sorry.
Let it be known that Tom is the biggest weeb on the podcast.
I will claim that title with pride.
Not for long.
So, I have now finished Space Runaway Ideon, and I watched the film Ideon Be Invoked. And, I would like to remove all previous statements I have ever said about Ideon. Ideon is a masterpiece. It is the best anime ever made. It is literally so good. It's a mandatory watch. I will make every person on planet Earth watch it under my regime.
Fine, I'll do it when I get there. What year is it?
1980.
I got a little
That's why you should vote for Tom 2024.
Yeah, vote for me. You know? So,
yeah.
There. Anyways, so, basically, the thing about Ideon is, I kept hinting earlier that I was like, I think the robot's sentient, guys. The robot was sentient, along with the ship that it was being carried on. And it's powered by this thing called the E-Day, as they call it. It reads like Ide, so that's how I've been pronouncing it, but it is technically pronounced E-Day. And the E-Day is a mysterious force completely beyond human comprehension that exists for the sole purpose of protecting itself. And it has almost no other goal. And within this purpose of protecting itself, it has realized, amongst the fighting between the Buff Clan, which is like the race of aliens that they're fighting, and the Earthlings, that human beings are too dangerous to be kept alive, that they fundamentally pose too much of a risk to the entire universe, so they must be simply eradicated. So everyone who gets aboard the solo ship, which is the ship that carries the E-Day, everyone who gets aboard it is forced to fight forever until they either die or the E-Day is invoked, which is what happens in the movie, where they are forced to fight other members of their own species, presumably forever, until the E-Day achieves its goal. And the goal is achieved within the movie, E-Day, or Ideon Be Invoked. So, basically, the Buff Clan woman who gets aboard the ship in, like, the first episode, her name is Carla, I think? It's a weird name. I always just sort of glazed over it in the fucking subtitles. But she falls in love with the human man named Jordan Bess, who is sort of like the Mr. Bright of this series, where he is sort of the captain of the ship, and he goes through a lot of the more intense character development in a lot of ways. And Jordan Bess has sex with this woman. It is never shown on screen in any capacity. It's sort of only implied that it happens. And she gets pregnant with a weird crossbreed between this foreign human race and the human race, the species that everyone else in the character is, or in the show is. And this baby, it's shown throughout the show that the Ide will respond to children more so than adults, because children are seen as sort of like a fundamental good of the universe, you know? And the child has the same reaction that the Ide does, where it's like, I gotta protect myself, and that's like all it cares about. So whenever children are crying in the show, the Ide is going ballistic and like protecting everything. And it is doing anything from fucking like activating fucking warp drives when they should not be able to activate, and shooting black holes out of the robot's chest, and cutting planets in half, and just a bunch of crazy shit. And then Be Invoked starts. And in this movie, the entire movie is just both sides wiping each other out. Just, the Ide is in overdrive, it's forcing everybody to fight constantly, it's giving away its position to all the enemies who want to find and destroy it, so that it can force its captive human soldiers to fight these new enemies. And before long, both Earths are destroyed, thanks to, like, residual power of the Ide being, like, sent out across the universe, so nobody is left on either planet. It's just the few people that are out on these spaceships, and they are slowly destroying each other, and slowly but surely you have to watch as every character aboard the solo ship just dies tragically, and it's, like, really awful to watch. There is a famous scene in which this literal 3-year-old gets her head blown off on screen, and it just shows that. And you just have to accept that you just watched that. And it like, once almost everybody is dead, there are three remaining humans alive at this point, at least 3, like, named remaining humans alive, that aren't, like, on the enemy side. The enemy side has, like, a few foot soldiers that are left. They shoot and kill their big leader guy, so he's taken care of. But the surviving members are Jordan Bess, who is about to bleed out. He is, like, dying. And then there is Deck, who is this kid. He's literally, like, 12. He's so fucking young. But he's one of the pilots of the Ideon. And he's in one of the cockpits. And then the main character, Cosmo, who is in the main cockpit of the Ideon, currently piloting it. And he hears that one of the other pilots of the Ideon, Carla, who is like the girl, she's on a lot of the promotional artwork, she's got like the twin ponytails, and she's like a bitch. That's like the best descriptor of her character. She's a total bitch. I love her. But that's besides the point. She gets shot literally in the face on screen alongside Carla and all the other characters aboard the solo ship. Noticeably, Carla is pregnant while she dies, but they mention that the baby is not dying. Once Carla dies, because it is being protected by the power of the Ide, and nobody's really sure what's happening with it. So it's just sort of sitting there, not dying, within a dead woman's stomach, and then Carla gets shot and killed, or not Carla, Kasha gets shot and killed. She's, like, dead. And then Cosmo's like, oh fuck, they killed, like, Kasha? Like, for real? And that's, like, when it all dawns on him. And something in his brain, like, breaks, and the Ide, like, connects to him during this time, and starts, like, using him as, like, a conduit for its own will, and it's, like, it's absorbed his, like, entire being, pretty much, and he is now telepathically communicating with the remaining, like, everyone alive, and he's, like, literally saying, this is, like, why the Ide exists, I have to wipe out humanity, I hate everybody, and then he takes his robot and he punches the big, like, ship that they're, like, fighting against, and, like, kills literally the last of the few people on board, leaving the only humans alive, pretty much, as Jordan, Bess, Cosmo, and Deck. And all three of them are just sitting there, but they happen to be in the path of the super weapon that was aimed at them earlier in the movie, and it fires, killing all of them instantly. They all die. All of humanity is now extinct. It's gone.
It's just over.
Nice.
It's over. However,
Best ending.
For the entirety of this moment, this song is playing called Cantata Orbis, which is a song that has a very distinct atmosphere to it. If you ever watch the movie, you'll know what song it is. But that is still playing over this moment. It cuts to Carla, her soul floating out of her body, and she's like, okay, they've named the child Messiah, by the way, which, a little bit on the nose, but oh well. She goes, alright, Messiah, it's time, because they have been caught inside of the, like, gigantic laser that literally killed the rest of the cast, and the baby starts, like, glowing, and it, like, leaves her body, and then everyone's souls leave their body too, and it reincarnates all of humanity as, like, these naked space ghosts that are just flying around the world, like, the universe freely. They have no attachments. They have no, like, fucking, like, they are, like, perfect angelic beings now, basically. And everyone ascends to this, like, higher plane of being, and they all leave, like, guided by this very tiny baby. And that is just how the movie ends. Oh, but not before going to the camera zooms in on a planet and cuts to live action shots of beaches for a while.
Okay.
So the thing about this movie is that the strange thing, the point that it seems to be trying to get across is this idea that humans are, like, these inherently evil, like, sort of sinful creatures, but not by ourselves. It's all the things we have attached to us, you know? Family legacy, grudges, fucking, like, countries, species, race, all these different things are just, like, holding us back from, like, what makes humans truly great.
That post-war Japanese shit.
Yeah, and the E-Day is like a manifestation of what makes humans great to begin with. And to get people to that state, it has to wipe out all of humanity and start over. Which is the ending of the movie. And this doesn't even begin to, like lessen the impact of the movie, because once you actually watch it, you realize that the big emotional moving pieces of the movie are watching every character you've gotten to know over the course of the 39 episode series get obliterated within, like 30 minutes of each other. You know?
Yeah.
It's like every death, like, I gasped. Every single one of them. By the end, you know, I was really feeling that kill 'em all Tomino thing, you know?
Yeah.
I was really feeling it by the end, but I pushed through, and damn, that movie's a masterpiece. It's literally so good.
Spoilers, it's a masterpiece?
Noticeably, though, it is incredibly similar to the end of Evangelion, which is, well, pretty much the same movie. It's just End of Evangelion was made a little bit better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, just because newer production values and such. And the song that plays, Cantata Orbis, is sort of like a heavy, like like, sort of, like, depressing feeling song that's supposed to sort of, like, fill you with awe as you're watching the final scenes of the movie. Whereas, Calm Susser Todd is an emotional experience that cannot be compared to any other, so, you know, it wins in that regard.
Perhaps.
But yeah, that's what I watched this week. I needed a break for a few days, so that is all I watched.
Alright. I have watched a little bit more of Joe, but, like, not too much has happened in it. There is, in fact, filler in Joe.
There is actually one more show that we all watched the ending to simultaneously.
What?
That we have not talked about yet.
What's that?
We all watched the series finale of Chris Chan.
Oh no, this is not anime.
Chris Chan? It's anime.
I guess it's anime. I don't even want to talk about it. I've seen too many of my heroes die.
All we'll leave it at is, for the fans of the Geno Samuel documentary, you're in for one hell of an ending.
I can't believe that the series, like the actual canon ending to Chris Sonichu, is handed off to a third party.
I can't believe that the actual canon ending of Chris Chan is Chris finding their boyfriend-free girl.
Can we pause for a second? Hold on.
Editor, cut this out! Editor, cut... You know, something I didn't even think about until just now. During the ending of Ideon, there is a moment where the main character is, like, he hasn't awoken yet. He's just lying there in, like, spirit form. Just, like, eyes shut in in a position where his arms are outstretched after he died for humanity's sins. Well, there's two love interests for him in the show. There's Kitty Kitten and there's Kasha. And the question beforehand, it was never a question, because Kitty dies, like, shortly after she's introduced. And Kasha doesn't start, like, being like, alright, I guess I'm dating you, until, like, literally the final scene where they're together. At the end of the movie, they're both standing over him as he wakes up. And it's, like, this is where other anime would be like, alright, now make the choice, who you going with? When in Ideon, it's completely irrelevant, because that choice has been completely eradicated by the events of the scene beforehand. Who he chooses ultimately would have no meaning at all, considering humanity is no longer with, like, any sins. So, you know, there would be no jealousy, there would be no, like, anger between them, there'd be nothing. You can put that in if you want. We need to get something out of this 6 minutes thing gone.
Yeah, I'll cut that in.
3, 2, 1. Go.
Sync. You said
Did it
go
get-
again.
Yeah. What, next time I'm not gonna...
Okay.
Okay. So, we had to break the recording up because we encountered some technical difficulties. However, they have been resolved now,
Yes.
presumably.
Yes, I now
and
have enough space for 117 hours. So,
Oh my god.
But we're gonna be moving into the main topic, which is
woo.
consoles versus PC.
This episode is going to be a blowout. Consoles are better.
Who wins?
Sayu is dumpstered now. Goodbye,
Oh.
Sayu.
Well, you see, consoles had the right idea. Where it's
Yes.
just like, you focus on the game, you sit down in your dedicated gaming spot, and you play the game with the game device.
Yes.
However,
They do not have the right idea because they're all like gaming iPhones because you can't do anything with them. Like there's no freedom. You can't download a random game unless it was officially published on their gaming store or it's on a disc.
Yeah.
This is true. There are a couple weaknesses in that regard.
A lot.
However,
where's my gaming Android? You know what I'm saying?
It's called
it's
PC.
It's literally coming. It's called the Steam Deck.
It's called or Steam Deck, I guess. It's just PC though.
Well, no, PC's not like a dedicated gaming thing.
Yeah, you know what?
Neither is Android.
You know what I do when
the comparison was that iPhone is like a walled garden where you have no freedom and you just have to do the things that you're allowed to do, and then you can't do anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I like PC.
Yeah. Hey, Sayu, how much work do you do on your PC?
What do you? Almost none.
Wow,
I've upgraded it like once, but
no, like work. Like, how much work do you do on your PC?
Like, do you use your PC for things that are not gaming?
I mean, like, I like stream and I draw on it.
Okay.
When I do those two things.
How often do you
streaming
draw?
is part gaming. Not very often anymore.
Streaming is kind of a weird thing. It's caught in the middle. As someone who did it for, like over a year, I think.
It's like gaming as work.
Sort of, yeah. I never really considered it work, honestly.
It's like fun work. I don't know. I'd consider it work in the same way that like drawing is work. It can be used as recreation, but it's like...
It's like work in the same way that talking to friends is work.
Yeah.
I disagree. It's like an almost like artistic form of work. I don't know.
But anyways, you see, when I turn on my PC, I am either recording a podcast or working on whatever my current project is. Currently, it's Nier.
Yeah.
If I'm playing games on PC, it's probably on my laptop, unless my laptop can't run it, in which case it is every time it is a Dark Souls game, which those are like a weird exception. I think my brain considers those work.
Yeah.
Consoles have a unique advantage over PC in that the people who provide the console, like manufacture it and distribute it, also are the ones that get the money for the games that's being played on the console. So the amount of money you would have to spend to get an Xbox Series X tier PC is far more than whatever you spend on the Xbox Series X.
Yeah, but that's the cost of freedom. All right,
that's the cost of freedom. Until Steam Deck.
True.
Think about it.
We're just gonna keep coming back to the Steam Deck being the greatest device ever conceived of.
The Steam Deck is universally on both sides. It is the biggest fence-sitting device.
Yeah, no.
It is right in the middle of console versus PC.
It's both.
Well, I don't know. Actually, I still think it's worse than a PC.
When we're talking about Steam Deck, let's basically assume we're only talking about Steam Deck with SteamOS installed.
Yeah.
Wait.
I forgot you can do other things with it.
How is it any worse than a PC?
Name one actually.
It's just a PC.
I guess I'm not really clear on some details on the Steam Deck, so maybe this is just going to be
Steam Deck
you
podcast.
informing me on the Steam Deck for a bit.
Alright, ask away. I know everything.
But it's like basically just like playing like just the Steam app on a console, right?
Steam OS launches into big picture mode while it's not docked. However, you can access a desktop-like environment while docked, which is just Arch Linux.
Yeah.
I see.
KDE. KDE being a desktop environment which is similar to Windows.
I see. Well, Well, I guess that's better than I thought it was. Never mind. I retract my statement. I still don't like that you can't get better hardware, but I guess the hardware is good. But
I mean, the hardware is
it's pretty good.
Presumably it's good. Do we even have the specs yet?
I don't think we have
specs.
Oh, do we? Yeah.
Steam Day.
I hear that it's good for right now. I just don't like the lack of the ability to upgrade it.
Yeah, here's the tech specs. We got a Zen 2 AMD Ryzen CPU with 4 physical cores running 8 threads at 2.4 gigahertz up to 3.5, which is basically as good as my CPU. And then we have an integrated GPU which has 8 RDNA 2 compute units running at 1.0 to 1.6 gigahertz. And it's hooked up to 16 gigabytes of LP DDR5 onboard RAM running at 5500 megahertz in quad channel, which basically means there is a ridiculous amount of memory bandwidth going to the GPU. So it can basically run any modern game, even ones that are coming out on the next generation, at 720p, at least at 30 FPS.
And the thing is, right, games are about to stop looking better very soon. We are hitting walls, not just in hardware, which we kind of are, but we're hitting walls in terms of what people can even produce. There is a reason Cyberpunk took as long as it did. We'll just say that much.
Well, that's why we're about to start rolling out AI-assisted development tools and using shit like ray tracing so that nobody needs to do actual lighting work.
Cyberpunk were development hell. I don't think it was. I don't think it was caused by a graphics cap that they hit.
I mean, how much longer do you want to have to wait for a video game come out? Because it's already development time is so fucking long.
I mean, I agree that does suck. But anyway, that's not the topic. I'm more interested in the console versus PC debate.
But all I'm saying is Steam Deck is PC that has managed to gather all of the advantages of a console.
Yes.
Even down to pricing.
Yes. It's very nice.
I guess PC wins.
It did find a way to win in the end. Congratulations
I did
to
it.
PC.
Okay,
I did it. I won the debate.
Okay, Steam Deck is banned for the rest of this discussion. Let's pretend it was never announced.
Alright. So, so let's define better.
No.
No.
Okay, wait, hold up. We need to go onto Urban Dictionary and search PC and consoles.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, we have to put this in the beginning.
Yeah, oh fuck.
By the way, the reason why the last episode did not go up last night is because I was resetting my entire computer. I'm sorry.
Wow. For shame.
It took much longer than I thought it would.
Alright, so the definition of PC on UrbanDictionary.com is politically correct.
No, not that one.
Alright.
Other PC.
Protective custody.
No, not that one.
Pre-cum.
Search up computer.
Okay, here it is. Personal computer. A highly flexible, powerful platform. Worth the price tag because you can do a whole lot more shit on it than you can ever do on a console, such as typing up a document, image editing, music and video creation, and creating games. Will always be around when the console systems rise and fall. The platform used to create all console games. The platform where all console games will eventually be emulated on.
True. But what does it say about consoles?
I assume Tom was looking it up.
I did not.
Wow. Okay. A computer intended for limited user interaction, such as the NES or the PlayStation. Such computers are intended only for loading single programs in one session, although newer consoles are able to perform such feats as getting on the internet, networking between other consoles of the same type, and even running various operating systems compiled for its internals. Common input devices for consoles include controllers, also called paddles sometimes, joysticks, or arcade pads.
I see.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that fits. All right. So, anyways, consoles are better.
Nope.
All right, make your case.
Okay.
Me?
Yeah. You have the stronger claim, I think.
All right. Here we go. Consoles are intended for video games. They are created for the sole purpose of playing the video games, which means that it is the exact experience that most developers are designing their artwork to be experienced through this very sort of ideal way for you to play it, where you put the game in and you sit down on your couch and it just plays. This is, of course, not as good nowadays, and I should clarify that I don't like modern consoles very much. I don't think very highly of them.
We've always had video games that did not work very well on their respective consoles.
Yes, but there is no putting in your Cyberpunk disc and having to wait 70 hours to download a patch, you know?
Yes.
There is just putting in your Cyberpunk disc and it not working ever.
Yeah, and that was so good.
That is just how it was released. You know?
Okay, you know what? I really do. This is something. I know that the advantages of patching and live updates have yielded some modern advantages, which are undeniable goods. However, I do miss the days when a game would just ship and it's like that.
Yeah.
Like, if the game is unplayably terrible and, like, made like shit, now it is now like an artifact of the times. You can always come back to it and put it in that console and be like, look at this shit.
You can always boot up Sonic 06 and play it the way that it existed.
Well, Sonic 06 could have received updates, just didn't.
It didn't. You could always boot up Shadow the Hedgehog and watch him say, "It's like taking candy from a baby," which is fine by me in the true hero route. You can always do that.
Yeah.
Later games, you cannot do that.
Black creatures.
Just that. When you say you don't like modern consoles, how modern do you go with that? Like PS3 still has like patches.
PS4
and stuff. Okay.
PS3 was the last good console, but it's on some thin ice.
Yeah, it does have patches. It didn't really have live content updates, that's a feature that I just downright despise. I hate everything about live updates and live service games. Just get that shit away from me.
Like, the idea that a game is sold under the pretense that it receives constant updates for the time that the player is playing it.
Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, I have like 700 some odd unfinished games. I don't need a game that forces me to keep coming back to it over and over again for minor content updates. The worst version
of this is early access type games, where it's
like
more about playing the game before it's finished, and it
like
potentially never will be. But then there's also things like, Fortnite, where it's just there's always new content.
MMOs are the only acceptable example of this because they pioneered it, and it's like MMOs are like a social experience more than a video game one, in my opinion.
It was also good when Valve did it. Unfortunately, it is Valve's fault that everyone else does it now.
True.
Tom, you said something about MMOs a while ago that I thought was really good, and that's that MMOs only exist in the moment, so it's fine that they receive updates in those moments.
Yeah. I like that that the MMO is more of a fleeting experience. It makes it more unique to the player. It really makes them fondly remember it, as opposed to
TF2 is a great example of first of all how to do a live service game as best as you possibly can, and even then it is a perfect example of what all live service games will eventually become should they not be just completely taken offline.
Oh god, TF2.
Because TF2 is in the most sorry state of any fucking currently supported video game. Like, you cannot play on any public server without encountering just, fucking bots everywhere that'll just, snipe you from across the map, through walls and shit.
Oh my god.
As well as, though the game is still sort of fun, all of these players now are just left playing this game almost out of a sense of obligation because they've sunk hundreds, if not thousands of dollars into the in-game economy, and the game will never receive an update ever again.
Yeah, TF2 is a disaster, and why nobody should do live service games. They're terrible. I hate them.
Yeah.
Get that shit away from me. It's the worst thing that's ever happened.
Except for Gary's Mod, which is sort of a live service game if you think about it. It's just the service is provided by the community.
I feel like would you consider fighting games to be this kind of game? Could they come out and you know they're gonna get balance patches?
I mean, I would, because the balance patches are just a part of what a fighting game is now.
Yeah. I would say balance patches are fine when a fighting game is okay, here's the game, you paid $60 for it. Now here's 500 DLC characters priced at $5 a piece. Buy all of them, you loser, Lamau.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
I am taking a hard stance against balance patch updates. I think you should make a character, and that's just the way they are. If they end up being Meta Knight, then you know what? Maybe you just shouldn't have shipped the update. Do you ever think about that?
Well, they couldn't have known that. that Meta Knight would be like that. That was all unintentional bitches.
Okay, you know what?
Do you know what it takes to
I'm kind of memeing. But you know what I would like for a fighting game style thing? Is if there was a beta branch where they'll add new characters and they'll receive balance updates and stuff. And once they're decided okay, now we can ship this character because it's been figured out, then they get into the main game that is a consistent if you play a character, you just know that's the way they're gonna be.
Well,
no real balance patches, just when they're adding a new character, just have a test phase.
Yeah.
Well, you see, that defeats the scumbag business model of the DLC character. This is most noticeable in Smash Brothers, where they will refuse to balance the character at all to get people to buy it, and then maybe eventually it'll get a balancing patch.
Yeah.
Alright, maybe this is gonna sound a bit dumb.
Okay, worth noting for anybody in the audience who likes fighting games, I do not play fighting games.
Neither of them play fighting games.
So you can dismiss everything I say, even though I am objectively right.
Here's the thing about fighting games in particular when it comes to the DLC question.
Yeah?
Fighting game is not a lucrative market by any stretch of the word.
It kind of is.
Unless you're literally Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat.
It's like one of those otaku markets. It's like the anime thing where they try and get as much money out of their audience as possible.
Yeah.
But
specifically being mostly from Japanese game studios, that's what they're made for, is because there is a super hardcore fighting game otaku community in Japan.
Yeah. But so they kind of need the need the pricing. But I agree that it's shitty that it has to be the case. But they kind of do need that to be able to continue to produce these games under Namco or Bandai Namco. I'm talking about specifically the Arc System Works, which is the people who make BlazBlue and Guilty Gear.
Arc System Works. Arc System Works, I guess, makes sense, but, like, there's no excuse for, like, the amount of DLC that, like, the Street Fighter games or the
Smash
Marvel...
Bros.
I actually don't even know
I think
if
the fact
Street Fighter
that
is
Smash
that
Bros. Will
profitable.
just, like, ship OP characters and then,
Okay,
okay, they only get balanced in the sequel is, like, dumb.
Yeah, no, I
okay,
hate that.
Smash Brothers doesn't need to do DLC, and neither does
No.
Mortal Kombat. I don't know about Street Fighter. I don't know how popular that actually is in terms of sales. I know everyone knows about it, but...
Street Fighter's a weird example because there's only been, like, a handful of mainline ones, and the most recent one, as far as I know, isn't really super popular. You know, people
It's not
would much
popular,
rather...
but it sold really well because everyone thought it would be really good.
Yeah.
Here's another advantage
but, like,
of consoles.
You know, when it comes to
speaking of
Street
fighting
Fighter, you know,
games,
there aren't...
is the consistency of the hardware.
Oh, God, yeah. Yes. Even if it's not good for certain fighting games. Looking at you, newest Guilty Gear.
I mean, yeah. Well, newest Guilty Gear actually works fine on PS5
Yeah.
only.
Nobody can
think.
get them. Either way, you know,
And actually, PS5 has, I think, it would some like crazy number of additional input delay that they have natively on that console.
The PS4.
So that's PS4 had like 2 frames, I think it was, of native input delay, and PS4 has it was either like 4 or with 4 additional ones. I heard it in a YouTube video.
Yeah.
So I don't know how reliable that is.
oh my god. Here's another point for consoles, especially retro ones. When I'm arguing in favor of consoles, I always mean retro ones. They are far better than anything we currently have.
I do wish
Okay, wait. Define retro. Does that include
PS3?
PS3?
anything
Yes.
anything before PS3 I would say is retro.
We are getting to the point where we can include the PS3 in retro. Think
Okay,
about
but
it.
when I think
about
of
this.
retro, I kind of don't think of it as like a time thing. I think of it as like an era thing in terms of like design sense. Where I would definitely say that
guess.
like the PS3 much more resembles the PS5 than it does the PS2.
I guess? I don't know.
I guess the focus
still-
was all there where
Yeah.
the PS5 is, right? With the PS3.
I still think of it as a time thing, and when you think of it as a time thing, the PS1 was a retro console when the PS3 came out. PS5's
Yeah.
out. It's time. The
But
PS3's an
the
old...
gaming market has just simply stagnated. Like time has
It's
slowed
true.
down.
It's true. Anyways, I'm including the PS3 in this, just know that. I'm meaning
Alright, fine.
PS3, Xbox 360, and before. I'm going to include the Vita in this only because that console
PS3.
deserves a fair chance at life that it never got. Anyways, the nice thing is, like, if I wanted to go and play, I don't know, fucking, like, Final Fantasy VI, right? I want to play some Final Fantasy VI, and I happen to own it on Snes. I take out my cartridge, I maybe blow in it, which is not good for the cartridges, but people still do it. I clean it somehow, and then I put it in the slot, I turn it on, and it boots up. And bam, there it is, Final Fantasy VI. I can play it from beginning to end.
So you're saying like just it's easy to access. You
I
don't really need to do much.
Yeah. Do you know how many hoops you have to run through to
I think that's
jump through?
I think that's like extremely
play
based.
What?
I think that's extremely subjective. Because you have your own like fucking like gamer room set up that you're always in.
I mean,
I'm always on my computer with Steam open. I can literally just double click a game and that's it.
wait a minute. No, you cannot literally always. We're about to get a new version of Windows. There are going to inevitably be games in your library that are not going to work on the new version of Windows.
You know,
Those are such a rarity, though.
That's the funny thing. A lot of retro games, like a lot of games that are old and like don't work anymore on the latest version of Windows, they actually still work on Linux because Proton is made to
be a compatibility layer for all Windows versions.
Yeah, but no, wait a minute. We can't talk about Proton. That's on the Steam Deck. That's banned.
No, that's on Linux. That's just PC. We're just talking about PC.
Also, games that are,
Proton is on all distributions.
We have to ignore Valve.
I'm pretty... Didn't, like, you literally tell me this, Tom? That, like, most games that are, like, incompatible with current versions of Windows were on Windows Vista in 2000?
I mean, those were the jumps. Those were the big jumps. Going from Windows 2000 to XP had a lot of compatibility issues, and then going from Vista to 7 had a lot of compatibility issues.
Yeah,
those were the two big jumps for compatibility.
I mean, ever since then, there haven't been any big compatibility issues.
My point with bringing up Linux is that there are more options, which in the future could potentially be universally easy to use.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, wait, yeah. Linux is also a way to get around that. Anyway,
yeah.
Linux is going to be the future of PCs, but I'm talking in the moment.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
in this exact moment, it is much easier for me to just smack in my copy of fucking Alice. You know, that's actually a great example. Alice Madness Returns comes with the original Windows 2000 American McGee's Alice.
Yeah.
And that game, I don't know if it even fucking works on Windows anymore.
I am not denying that there are some games that don't work on PC. But there are way more games that just don't work on consoles. I'm sorry.
What do you mean just don't work?
As in, I can't play like fucking
like most indie games?
Yeah, like most indie games don't work on. I'm just talking like games that aren't on console. I would consider essentially games that you can't play on PC as not on PC anymore.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, with indie games, it's weird. It's weird because indie is like its own whole thing.
It's its own whole better thing. Okay, this is the biggest problem with consoles is you can only play published games.
Lack of indie support is sad. Wait a minute. Older consoles, you can play homebrews, which, depending on the market, there are pretty good homebrews.
I actually wanted to bring up the PSP, because I honestly feel like the PSP is, like, my favorite console I've ever had, because I could just, like, install custom firmware on it, and I played, like...
Legally.
Yeah.
I played so many things on my fucking like PSP. I played through Cave Story on it, not all the way. I stopped like 3/4 of the way through the game.
Yeah,
but that is the farthest I ever made it in Cave Story.
The PSP is one hell of a console. Mobile
PSP is pretty epic.
Like handheld consoles are the best video game devices on the planet. I
modding a 3DS these days is also like PSP tier. Like you can
literally,
if you have a new 3DS, you can just play like basically any Half-Life 1 game, like Half-Life 1 or any of the mods for it. You can also import the expansions, because somebody just ported Gold Source to the 3DS, and you can just import anything that runs on Gold Source, and it just works on the 3DS.
Yeah. No, the 3DS is like the most OP console of all time. It's just so fucking crazy. Its native game library, the 3DS game library, is so fucking good. Yeah. And then it also plays the other best game library ever, the DS library. And then it also natively supports SNES, NES, GBA's a bit iffy, if I remember right.
You see, I like Nintendo consoles.
Game Boy,
I would be much more inclined to say that I still, in this debate, though it's not a debate, in this discussion, I am taking the side of PC. I really do think that I care about the ability to do what you want to with the hardware more than I care about most of the advantages that consoles have. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a lot of the reason I don't use my phone very much is because I'm just, like, disgusted by the fact that the phone, like, I need to jailbreak the phone in order to, like, install certain things on it.
Yeah.
Fuck, what was I gonna say?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, Nintendo. If every console was like a Nintendo console, I would be much more inclined to say that consoles are better for games than PC. Because the thing that Nintendo does is they use the fact that they're manufacturing hardware specifically for games to try and create new gameplay experiences, or at least new experiences with games, like being able to take it both mobile and play it in a home console setting, or things like pushing motion controls and the 3D effect. Like, people will call these things gimmicks, but there are at least a few games that come out every generation that use them so effectively to the point where you're like, you could have never made this if not for this console being pushed onto the developers and creating a market incentive to try new things with new hardware. But modern consoles just don't do that.
No, they don't. It's
modern consoles are just
lame.
like budget PCs. I'd
No.
say.
Yeah.
The big thing for me that killed consoles, especially for the modern day, is console games don't look like anything anymore. You boot up fucking what's like a multi-plat game that's on like everything right now.
Like Assassin's
Apex
Creed,
Legend.
I don't know.
You know what? Apex Legends. That's like a perfect example. I'll just use that one. You boot up Apex on your Xbox, and it looks the same as basically the same as booting up your Apex Legends on your PS4 or booting it up on your PC. It looks the same.
I think it's more of a product of like less hardware limitations. Like we have like less like specialized.
The
hardware.
differences between hardware are so negligible now that
Yeah.
because normally you can tell when it's like a PS2 game or an Xbox game or a game.
You could definitely tell the difference between like the like PS5 port of Apex Legends and like a hypothetical Switch port, if that exists.
It
does. It does exist.
Yes. Yeah. And it looks like shit.
Yeah.
Wait. I would like to cite my favorite example of this. My favorite console generation basically ever. And that is right when the PS1 released, and that competing like section of like consoles, right? The consoles that were in that, the PS1, the Sega Saturn, the N64, PC to some extent even. The way that they all handled 3D was incredibly different from each other. The Saturn was able to handle 3D pretty stably. Like, it didn't have any issues with like wobbling like the PS1 did. The PS1 had so many fucking problems with the goddamn screen wobble. It looks amazing. I love it. But it did have a lot of issues with it. And the Saturn doesn't have that, but it's not able to handle, like, high detail things, like, at all, including textures a lot of the time. So what you get a lot of the time are these really weird, like, dreamlike environments where everything sort of looks a little strange, and you get games like Bug or Nights on the Sega Saturn.
The different hardware did, like, encourage different types of art direction.
And I miss that. I want that shit back.
This is actually something that I was kind of excited about when the PS5 and Xbox Series X were announced, because the Xbox Series X seemed to place much more emphasis on things like ray tracing and like more advanced like shader computing, whereas the PS5 was basically going all in on the SSD, allowing for loading in like more detailed environments and stuff.
And it's nothing.
We have yet to see anything that actually goes in either direction, but who knows? Maybe we will in the later like life cycles of the consoles when they're just trying to get as much as possible out of the hardware. But so far, every PS5 and Xbox game looks exactly the same. The PS3 and the Xbox 360 towards the end of their lifespan did have something a little bit like that going on, but it was negligible in comparison to whatever the fuck was happening.
One of them was like better at lighting or something.
The Xbox was better at lighting, and the PS3 was so good at physics.
The PS3 was very good at physics because it had like a trillion threads.
It made it impossible to develop for, but by the end, people had it figured out, and like, holy shit. Like, I don't, like, it's not even limited to, like, just, like, the 3D stuff, you know? Like, my favorite fucking shit in the universe is comparing Snes soundtracks to Genesis soundtracks. That's, like, so crazy to me that the Genesis, like, sounded like that. And, like, there are still emulators for the Genesis that struggle to emulate that fucking sound. I just want to put that out there. Best console of all time, the Sega Genesis. Don't even fucking try to fight me. Editor, quick, put in the Genesis twang.
I've never touched a Genesis outside of one time Tom brought...
I know exactly the song I'll play there.
Didn't we play like Mortal Kombat at like school once, Tom?
Oh god,
on your
let me
Genesis
think.
At that computer camp thing.
Yeah, I think it was Mortal Kombat. I still own that copy of Mortal Kombat. The Genesis is still one of my favorite consoles to this day. It's literally set up right next to my bed. I play it like fucking all the time.
Yeah.
The Game Gear too. I've been playing that a lot recently, mainly because I put batteries in it.
Damn, they made a second one?
A second what?
Game Gear 2.
Oh, yeah, no, the Game Gear. That's the new one. Which is banned from this discussion.
Yeah.
What?
No, the Game Gear. It's
if we acknowledge the existence of the Steam Deck, then it just simply wins.
Yeah, it's the best, video game thing ever made. It wins. It just wins.
PC.
It doesn't even matter that it's PC. It's just, it wins.
Yeah. I mean, I think if the Steam Deck shipped and it was for some reason firmware locked, where you couldn't install any other operating systems, there would be no reason to call it anything other than a console with, I guess, a bit more freedom of software on it.
Yeah.
But the fact that it is just a bespoke piece of hardware that you can install anything on, it does put it in the PC market. Because even other modern consoles still run full x86 PC-like architecture in the same way that the Steam Deck does.
Yeah.
And, as long as we keep working on emulators, the thing could probably be compatible with most controllers. You could find some way to hook up, any controller to it, and with things like RetroArch and RetroArch's, fucking filters and shit that you can put in...
You can hook up anything to it, because you can just plug it into a dock, and then you can plug in anything that you can plug into a normal computer.
Yeah, exactly. But what I'm saying is it can become any other console, too. The sad thing is I still don't like emulators very much, just as a collector. I've never seen much utility in them in my day-to-day, outside of, the PSP one. That's, the only one I've used.
I'm sure you still recognize that they have, utility if you're not, a game collector. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. The issue with emulators, in my opinion, is the same thing happens to every person I ever see who gets an emulator. They're like, yo, look at all these games I downloaded, and then they never play any of them, because they have so many fucking games that they don't even, they don't even focus on any of them.
You get fucking choice paralysis, but that's just a product of not having to buy any games.
Exactly. I don't know. I prefer having the physical item in front of me so that it reminds me to play it or whatever. That's why I bought Persona 1 on PSP. I did finish it, so that was a good investment. But holy fuck.
I don't know. I feel like if you're I feel like it's possible to overcome that kind of.
It is. You have to sort of limit how you download the games, though. You have to be like, all right, I've finished this. It's sort of like getting a TV show or whatever, You don't legally download 14 anime at the same time. You download one and then watch it, and then you download another and watch it. Games are very small, so it's easy to just be like, I want that one and that one and that one, but doing that is a problem that you end up never playing any of them.
I actually have this problem. Every Steam sale, I buy 3 games.
Yeah.
I never buy games play any of them. Sales.
I buy them sometimes. It depends if there's one that I want.
I'll buy things that are on my wish list already.
Generally. I was thinking about trying to move away from Steam. I was like, you know what? I think I want DRM free software.
Epic Games.
No, my whole thing is I want DRM free software. But I recently learned that Steam doesn't actually mean DRM. Developers choose if they want DRM in their games, because there's actually a lot of games on Steam which just don't ship with DRM at all.
You could literally just open the files and just double click the executable and play it free of Steam.
The Witcher 3 is DRM free on Steam.
Every Sega game, most Sega games are DRM free.
Yeah.
which is good. Good on Sega. You know,
So,
I don't.
So
give
now
them...
that the Steam Deck's coming out, I'm stuck with Steam again.
Yeah.
But I don't buy anything on Steam anymore. It's like if I want to play a game that I do not own, like right then I want to sit down and I want to play it from start to end. That's when I buy it. But if I'm just like I might play that game in the future, like I don't buy it, even if it's on sale.
Yeah. I gotta, you know what, I've decided, I have fully decided, I am going to, if we ever get around to making whatever the equivalent of RadCon is, once we do that,
I guess we were going to call it
decided,
Me3, but I think that's too limited of a name.
It is. It was going to be, like, based around, like, Game Builder Garage, but that turned out to be super fucking limited, so, you know, whatever.
Yep, dropped.
Fucking dropped, garbage, goodbye Nintendo. I'm playing Dreams now.
I don't care about the limitation, it was just the... Like, I guess everybody was right. The fact that it doesn't have a built-in sharing means that nobody ever shared anything.
Yeah, it just kind of, like, sucks.
It got...
there was that one, like, website, but, like, I don't think anyone ever used it.
It got Flipnote 3D'd.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So sad.
But, yes, so if we ever just, like, do that, I've decided my first ever lecture should probably be on video game consoles. Because I have just a fucking insane, stupid amount of knowledge on, like, every video game console ever produced.
Yeah.
There's only a handful of them that I have never touched. Unfortunately, that includes the best console of all time, the FM Towns Marty.
Oh, I would love to do, like, lectures.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be quite as energetic with only 2 people in the audience, but, you know.
Yeah.
We could get like a wider group around us.
I don't know who we'd invite.
You know how there's a few people who show up to the RadCons that aren't actually on the PCP? It's like that.
Yeah. So, you know, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it all works out.
We need someone to bully as a cameraman. Maybe we get Nyuu, our editor, to do it.
Yeah. Actually, I was thinking we could get Jeff Thu of Mother's Basement to be our cameraman. Because that's all he can do. Got him.
No, he can make ads for Naruto Online.
Oh, you're right.
That'll be the reward. Or that'll be what you get if you win in the Tom versus Jeff Thu from Mother's Basement's boxing match.
Yeah. I'm coming for you, Jeff. Don't actually. I'm very frail.
Which one was it that, like, Jake Paul... Was it wrestling or boxing?
It was boxing. It was boxing.
Wait, it was like MMA or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, MMA is boxing.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay. I thought like a for wrestling. Okay.
There's like one sports fan who like heard you say that and is now incredibly upset. They are not the same thing. At all.
Doesn't it include boxing? I thought it was just mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
Okay, like it has elements of boxing in there, right? But boxing itself is like a self-contained, like defined sport.
Yeah, but is it also MMA?
I thought MMA was just like they're like an umbrella like organization that has multiple sports.
Yeah.
I think.
I don't know.
I'm Googling it right now.
I could be wrong.
Is boxing MMA? Boxing is a martial art. Oh, wait, but it's from an article titled "What is the difference between boxing and MMA?" They are different.
No.
They have different rule sets. That seems to be the main thing. I mean, the name of the game is still the same. You're still beating up dudes, but you're doing it under different rules. So
yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so now I've covered the MMA versus boxing topic that we had planned.
We can cross that one off. That's, like, done.
You know what? PC might be nice, but specifically going back to the Nintendo thing with, like, using hardware as a way to, like, incentivize change in the way that games are developed, at least within the span of a single generation. All consoles, to some extent,
have influenced the way that games are designed, specifically because they always ship with a controller. And certain things become standard on the controller, and those influence the way that games are designed. Like, if all games were always made for a keyboard and mouse, games would undeniably be much more complex in their control schemes than the very accessible pick up and play, you always understand how to control a game.
Yeah.
Thing.
Literally, just look at the MMO market.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, a lot of MMOs are made to be, like... Or a lot of MMOs nowadays,
They're
are
getting
made
there.
to be, like, compatible with controllers. Like,
Yeah.
like even Final Fantasy XIV... With like
It's
with like its fucking
compatible.
3 hotbars, you can use a controller, and people like do that like
Yeah.
by choice.
Yeah, I don't know why. I really don't get it.
I mean, you could set it up so that you have like the same access to like all your skills and shit.
Yeah,
don't
it's just like complicated. I don't like playing FF14 like that.
But the fact that consoles serve that place in the video gaming industry, even if games you would say are best played on a PC, consoles are important because they do influence the way that gaming goes in terms of design.
Consoles
Yeah.
are the guides. They do guide gaming forward. Whereas PC exclusive games are almost always just really weird shit, you know?
I mean, I don't. Wait, no. Okay.
Actually, you
I
know
wouldn't
what?
say, I wouldn't say
disagree
that
now.
either. I wouldn't say that consoles like move everything forward.
There are
They
genres. There are genres that aren't moved forward by consoles, famously point and clicks and MMOs. But there are most genres, I would say, are almost exclusively moved forward
First-person
by what
shooters.
they're no shooters. I literally said shooters earlier.
Wait, did you
Like,
say
just a
shooters?
second ago, I was
Shooters
like-
have all moved to consoles. However,
Yeah.
they did devolve when they moved to consoles.
True. No, the big thing with shooters is that like the big thing pushing them forward is Half-Life.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Yeah.
Just Half-Life. Nothing else. Just Half-Life.
No other game revolutionized shooters.
Yeah.
No.
Not one.
I mean, if you're really stretching for it, you could say that like the Shock games did it. But you know what?
The what?
Most of those
The
Shock.
Bioshock System
Bioshock, System Shock.
Oh.
Yeah.
I would say that the games that I thought that like Doom was like pretty much like the biggest influencer in how modern
Well, Half-Life
like,
1 was an
FPS is
evolution
like-
of Doom. Because Doom evolved into
Yeah.
Quake, and then Quake became Half-Life 1.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's
And
like
then-
it's just like a symptom of Doom. It's
And
not
then-
like the cause.
I mean,
And then Half-Life 1 became System Shock 2, which was like a sleeper hit that all game developers paid attention to, which became Half-Life 2. It's just a great flow. That's shooters, but they're like a genre that's like exempt. If you look at like fucking like platformers, like especially 3D ones, or like fucking what's another like big genre like that? RPGs especially really got influenced by the consoles they were running on. PC RPGs are a bit of a weird thing where the PC RPGs, which sort of became the Western RPG market, is sort of its own thing. The JRPG market, though, was pushed forward exclusively by console releases.
Okay, well,
You
that's
know what?
because, like, in
you know what?
Japan, PC is like
Japanese people don't like PC gaming, which means it must be bad. So I'm
Yes.
sorry to concede. I guess consoles are better.
Okay,
Yes.
you may be conceding, but you're stupid. All right. No, console's bad. PC good.
You know what? Actually, going back to the thing I said before, with consoles basically guiding like where the industry goes, consoles have introduced normies to the video
God.
gaming public.
I concede, it's over. I hate consoles now. I'm selling my collection.
This is actually my one thing I like about consoles. They do make video games as a concept more accessible.
No.
I like that.
No, I want to be the least accessible person to speak to of all time.
Oh,
I want
you
to
have a
be-
long way to
PC
go.
games.
You have a
Oh,
long
I
way to
know
go.
I've got a long way to go. I just have to develop the nastiest attitude and insist that nobody has ever heard of pop music. That's where I have to go.
Inside joke.
I think I explained that on the last episode.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fucking, I'm gonna get into poppin' music. I'm gonna prove that guy wrong.
Yeah.
One thing I will say is that some consoles are region locked, and that is incredibly not based. That is very cringe. I don't like that.
Yeah, region lock is just part of the whole like iPhone walled garden limited usage.
I mean, it's
thing.
not even always like that. Like most consoles before like the NES was obviously region locked, and the Snes was region locked barely.
Well, actually,
okay.
Technically, the region lock of the SNES and NES are only in the shape. If you could somehow find a way to connect a Famicom cartridge to an NES, it would actually work.
Yes,
that's cool.
But the SNES was much easier because it wasn't that different.
I found out the reason for at least consoles like GameCube and shit region locking, and I think it might actually be reasonable now.
What's that?
And it's because in like a lot of countries, in order to make video games like able to be purchased by people, they need to make the price a lot lower.
Yeah.
And to prevent people from just shipping it from other countries.
Oh yeah.
They need to do that.
Yeah,
that is the reason.
I didn't actually. I always just thought it was just some like bullshit, like nonsense. But I guess it has a reason.
Sony is literally the king of like doing that. The PS2 was region locked, and it was also like the best-selling console of all time, not because of like American sales or anything, but because the PS2 was so fucking successful in other regions, particularly in South America. That is why, by the way, soccer games were still getting released on the console up until like 2014, because that genre is incredibly popular in countries like Brazil, where soccer is like their number one fucking sport. And they just kept producing them because they make money there, and people in those countries couldn't necessarily afford to upgrade.
Still had a PS2.
Yeah, they just had their PS2, and they were excited to play the new soccer game, and that was like that's cool. I like that. I like that element that comes with the console. I don't tend to like region locking in terms of any other case. Actually.
I think that Steam I think it's Steam. Steam, from what I hear, I have like friends who live in like I forget which country, but somewhere in South America.
Yeah.
And they say that like Steam actually like prices its games like very differently depending on where you are.
Steam does have
a really good way to make things like accessible to everyone.
Yeah, Steam does have different regions. Steam does have different regions for its pricing. And I don't think that you can just log into another region. Like, you have to make the account in that region.
Yeah.
As well as keys are, in fact, region locked. Now, you can get a global key, but that normally goes off the US pricing.
Yeah.
But there are region locked keys, which are way cheaper.
But we do have to talk about the best region unlocked console of all time. The fact that these console creators, these manufacturers, didn't region lock this thing at all was such a Chad move that it just fucking demolished everything else. I'm talking about the PSP. The fact that I can import fucking anything and just play it was so cool. It literally was the foundation of my entire childhood because I imported the fucking Project Diva games and those things undeniably changed my life forever. So
I mean, Project Diva was the only reason I got a PSP, and it ended up becoming like my favorite console until the 3DS came out.
You know what? We gotta talk about it. Console versus PC, none of it matters. All of them can play Project Diva, so they're all good.
Except for the ones that can't. Xbox BTFO.
Fucking get out, Microsoft.
Although none of the consoles can play the full, unlocked Project Diva Arcade Future Tone.
True. You are missing, what, 2 songs?
Yeah, you don't have 2 songs.
One of them is not good. The other one's pretty damn good, though, I
The
will
other one's
say.
really good.
Kagami
what are the 2
Hachi...
songs?
Hachi Flower Fight, I think.
Yeah.
And then
Never heard of.
the other one is Saturation.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
The Flower Fight one is in one of the F games.
Yeah, that one's super good. Man, just thinking about it, we're never gonna get another Diva game. We're never gonna get a game with the W's. We're never gonna get, like, the fucking, the stars. We're never gonna get chance time events. It's all over. Goodbye, Diva.
There are plenty of chance time events. Just play like a Mario Party game.
The end of Divangelion. It's over. Alright, which one of us is giving the Project Diva lecture?
That would like literally have to be you.
It literally could be me, or it could be Nyuu.
I'm sure I could, but I feel like it's your thing.
The only lecture I'd ever want to do right now is a BlazBlue lecture, because I feel, but I don't actually know anything about BlazBlue.
Learn the plot.
I feel like it's probably equally as crazy as Guilty Gear, though. Which is pretty crazy.
I could come up with lots of lectures.
I could do one on the canon of Sonic. It would hurt everyone. I would be like, this is Shadow the Hedgehog. It's not canon. Moving on. And I would get like 1,000,000 angry comments.
Is there like a continuous canon between Sonic games?
Almost. There was one until 2001.
Huh?
No, 2004, I'd argue. It became significantly more loose as of Heroes, but it still existed. Shadow the Hedgehog, like, got past it from Heroes, and, like, fumbled it, and, like, dropped it and broke it, and then 06 just forgot to pick it up.
Huh?
And that's where we were left forever.
Well, I think it was, like, once they got into the adventure games, they reset the canon.
They did not.
Or they just went from the Japanese one. Didn't they?
I mean, the English canon is not, like, a thing, really. The most they did to, like, connect the two was they had a line where Sonic was like, look, it's a giant talking egg, to excuse them calling him Eggman for the rest of the franchise, which was only a thing in Japan before this point. But otherwise, the canons are mostly the same event-wise.
No, but I'm pretty sure, like, Adventure has nothing to do with the classic games.
No, it does.
Does it?
There's a few small connections. The main things are, like, Knuckles is on Angel Island, of course.
My god. Bro, it's turning into another Sonic episode.
It's another Sonic episode. Oh, fuck, what was I... Oh, yeah, no, Knuckles is, like, on Angel Island, and he's just, like, sitting there, and they make reference to how Eggman tricked him again, or something like that. Yeah. And there's, like, Tails' backstory is, like, fully shown, or not fully shown, but it's shown a bit in Adventure 1, where, it's, like... It's fully told in, like, the manual for Sonic 2 or something like that. So there's definitely, like, connections. That and, like, the Space Colony arc is, like, the whole reason the Death Egg was ever built in the first place. So, you know. It's all, like, a weird thing. It does have a canon, though, up until Heroes, and then it doesn't. This is the best Sonic podcast on the market, you know?
Yeah.
What was I gonna say about consoles?
I just realized that I wrote down a bunch of points that you guys made.
What?
Thinking that I'd respond to them, but then I never did.
Damn.
To a point about artist's intent.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's inherent value in experiencing a game the way the artist wanted you to.
You're gonna make me vomit.
I mean, I agree. But also,
I think there is inherent value in the artist having some amount of control over your experience in the game.
I disagree.
I think the fact, okay, it's not that the artist is, like, controlling the way that you're experiencing it. It's that the fact that they, like, know, like, it's the fact that when you play a game on a console, it's not so much the artist's intent as much as the artist just simply, like, knew all of the factors at hand.
Mm-hmm. The best example of this is and always will be Shadow of the Colossus.
Like, the first time I played Oblivion, it was on hardware which simply wasn't supported.
Hold on. Sayu, what did you just say?
PS3 was the only good one.
Oh, I thought you said PS4, and okay. I was...
Well, I'm not gonna disagree. I guess the PS3 one is a reasonable favorite.
Yeah, I still think the PS2 one's better.
The only glaring issue with the PS3 one, in my opinion, is just, like, kind of weird technical things. Like, the LOD models for the big bridge, like, all of the things holding it up, if you're playing it on the PS3 version, at some point they just, like become see-through, which wasn't intended because they turn into, like, 2D textures and it wasn't visible on a PS2. But that's really just an issue of the port. Blue Point sucks. Lol.
I'll be real. I haven't actually played through, like, the whole game on anything but PS4.
Now, what I was gonna say about what was it? Oh yeah, a good example of, like, it's not so much the artist's intent. When I played Oblivion, the Elder Scrolls 4, I played it on hardware which was simply not accounted for by the developer, and so none of the lighting worked at all. And this was my only way to play Oblivion, and I wanted to play Oblivion. So if I had simply played Oblivion on a more modern console that I had instead, then I would have been able to play the game in a way which wasn't undeniably detrimental to my actual experience because the game did not work correctly.
Yes. You know,
okay, but even then, wouldn't the intended experience of any Elder Scrolls game be on PC, pretty much?
Okay, yeah, but...
I agree that your specific experience might have been bad, but the intended experience is that you play on a good PC.
I'm not talking about intent. I'm just talking about an advantage of the consoles is the fact that the developer can account for the hardware that the player is playing it on.
Yes.
Okay, that is true, and that is, like, an advantage to some extent. But should the developer suck and make a game that doesn't work on a console, you can't do shit about that. The game just sucks.
Well, good.
Yeah,
good.
Wait a minute.
Maybe the game just
can't
sucks.
Fix it. What if the game is good if it works?
Wait a minute. You are making the assumption that the game does just suck, when not everyone is going to have that same experience.
I agree.
This is my thing with consoles, as I do agree you should be able to modify the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the consistency of the hardware is definitely a plus.
Yes.
Okay. Like, maybe it doesn't suck, but it is objectively limited by the console. Like, for example, Bloodborne. The only version that you can play of Bloodborne runs at 30 FPS with constant frame drops.
Wait a minute, but you can play it on PS5 now.
Honestly, at this point, I'm convinced that 30 FPS with frame drops is the way that the Souls games were meant to be played, because they have done it every time.
It's true. I mean, if you think about it, the 60 FPS is like to make it's like a more comfortable experience for you.
Yeah.
Nothing about Dark Souls or Bloodborne are supposed to be comfortable. You're going to put up with that 30 FPS, and you're going to put up with that having to pay to get someone into your game, and you're gonna fucking like it.
It's like I don't know, a lot of the Dark Souls experience is a lot like what makes it like fun is like triumphing over like
the 30 FPS.
This thing that isn't necessarily unfair, but is like really difficult.
I disagree.
But when you add in
the most pure Souls game was Demon Souls, which was definitely about unfairness.
Demon Souls is literally just straight up unfair.
Yeah,
I haven't played Demon Souls, but Dark Souls, I don't think Dark Souls 1 or 3 were ever really like straight up unfair.
Notably left one out.
I don't know. I haven't played very much in Dark Souls 1. I never played 3 or 2. And I haven't played any of like the Bloodborne. But even Dark Souls 1, it very intentionally starts you out pointing you in a direction where you just will die over and over again instead of the way that you're actually supposed to go. Like, it's trolling you.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Maybe I should clarify. When I say unfair, I mean like something that like, let's say like a boss has like a 1 in 24 chance of just exploding and killing you.
ROM.
Well, I mean, like, no matter where you are. You know what I mean.
Oh, I guess.
Like something unfair that the player has no control over and can't really learn their way around it. And,
I mean...
they can't really, like, play around. They just explode with no warning.
I mean, the frame drops and, like, frame rate are consistent elements. Just saying.
They aren't though.
I'm not making a real argument here. If you want to play fucking Dark Souls games at 60 FPS, then sure.
Yeah, if you want to play them at 30, that's
saying,
fine.
Your reasoning here is flawed.
Yeah, I think Dark Souls at its core is about like unfairness and about Dark Souls specifically is a bit different. Demon Souls is about unfairness and how like not everybody makes it. Dark Souls is about
challenge, but not unfairness.
No,
Dark Souls maybe, but Demon Souls is definitely just about like how some people just get fucked.
Yes, that's true.
For no reason.
Dark Souls, however, the artistic message behind Dark Souls is, and probably always will be, something along the lines of that everything is sort of exists in this cycle, and it doesn't matter if you participate in it or not. It's just sort of this endless cycle of like people being born and dying violent, gruesome deaths, and that's just like the way the world works and the way the world has always worked. And breaking that cycle, like, isn't possible, or like, and trying to isn't really meaningful in the end, and
that's why you have to play it at 30 FPS.
Yes, exactly. No, but that's like why you die to every boss over and over again, and you die going through areas and repeat shit all the time in Dark Souls. It's because it's about cycles like that. It's about that kind of thing.
You die to every boss over and over again because challenging. And any challenge is inherently trial and error.
Well, they made it challenging to fit the overall narrative.
Well, yeah, but it's not unfair.
Did we play the same Dark Souls 1?
I still don't know about Dark Souls.
Dark Souls 1 is, like, stupidly unfair at times.
What was the area in Dark Souls 1 that always, like, ran at, like, 5 FPS?
Blighttown.
Yeah. I think if your frame rates don't drop in Blighttown, you're playing the game wrong.
Yeah. Blighttown is meant to make you hate yourself and the game.
I'm be real. I played through it the first time. I never played through it again.
Fuck that place.
I never even played it with the frame drops. It just sucks.
That place isn't even okay as like a sorcery build, which has a built-in way. Oh wait, no, it doesn't even have the built-in way to remove the toxin, because you get that at the bottom of Blighttown.
Yeah.
What the fuck, FromSoft? Oh my god. How can you say this game isn't stupidly unfair?
Well, it's like, it doesn't put you in front of a challenge that there's not really, like, counterplay to, you know?
I guess, but...
Like
I mean, neither does Demon Souls. At the end of the day, they are still games that need to be finished.
It'll kill you at time. It'll, like, stick a skeleton behind a corner and he'll, like, kick you off a cliff. And that will happen undeniably every time, the first time you play through it.
You will get patches.
Yeah,
it'll happen.
but I feel like I don't consider that necessarily unfair, because that is just like a challenge. Like, It's just like a part of the trial and error that's inherent to any challenge.
I guess. I guess. I don't know. I feel like you're losing a very precise definition of unfair that is designed in your head to warp around being not including the Souls series.
Listen, okay.
I think we've said all we have to say, or at least all we will say for now about consoles versus PC. And Steam Deck wins.
Steam Deck wins, guys!
Steam Deck wins!
Steam Deck fucking wins! I can't believe Steam Deck
and by
did
extension,
we're voting third party.
Actually, I would like to cast my vote for a different console.
What?
I would like to cast my vote for the best gaming device of all time for the FM Towns Marty.
What is
that? FM Towns Marty wins.
Yes, Towns Marty wins!
What is this?
It's a console.
I have seen exactly one of them in real life, and it was priced at $2,000.
Japan only.
Again, priced at $2,000. Do with that information what you will.
I want it just so I can have a console that's named the FM Towns Marty.
I am not spending $2,000 on it. I don't even think there's many games on it.
What is on the FM Towns Marty?
Presumably nothing. I've never heard of anybody mention a single game on this console.
I've never heard of anyone mention this console. I don't think there's good metric.
Console iceberg.
I have seen one. Is there one?
There should be.
Alright. What we doing? Alright.
I
think we said, oh wait.
I'm making a change to the way we handle the comment section. I'm going to... Before we respond to the comment, I'm going to read the whole comment, even if it's fairly long, because the way that I did it before when we were talking about remakes is I read a sentence and then we would talk about the sentence and then I'd read another one.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I don't have the account on here.
Oh fuck.
What was it called? Jitsu Nyuu.
No, don't say that out loud!
Don't dox us!
And our password is...
Oh shit. I keep making typos.
Yo, FM Towns Marty is here. That is a fact. Yes.
Okay. Commento. I know we received one.
We received exactly one.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure we got a voicemail, though I may be wrong.
Ooh.
Yeah, we got... I fucked up. I didn't fix the editing mistake yet.
Oh my god.
I'm not sure how well the YouTube editor will actually work for this, because I think you need to mute an entire second. You can't mute, a fraction of a second.
Oh.
It has to be, at least a full second.
Wait, what happened? What happened?
You said my name.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's your name.
My name is already on the internet because I do commissions through PayPal, but...
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so, from Robert Anderson, repeat commenter. So, I'm embarrassed because I wasn't at all trying to imply that an adaptation needs to one-up the original, that it inherently needs fixing. I agree with what you said, and that was the whole point of my comment, but I'm really bad at wording things. See this as backpedaling if you want, but I swear it's true. No, baby, I forgive you. What I should have said is that an adaptation should add something to the work. Anything, even if it's very small, and not destroy it. Update was the wrong word. Sure, I agree.
Yeah.
And now that I agree, you have my approval again.
I mean, a remake that doesn't add anything, it's just a port.
I guess.
Yeah, if you change nothing, then it's just a port.
Ports are inherently fine from my perspective.
If you are literally porting the original source code and the whole, that's a remaster. That's what a remaster is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Blue Point remakes are somewhere between a remaster and a remake because they do literally remake every asset in the game. However, they are using the original source code for the game logic, which is weird. I don't know what you call that.
Yeah. I hate Blue Point.
Yeah.
I would like to stop thinking about them.
I'm not willing to say that they're like a soulless company because at least with the way that they handled like the Shadow of the Colossus remake,
yeah,
they clearly like did care about Shadow of the Colossus. I just think their approach sucked.
You're right. They're not soulless. They're just Americans.
True. Yeah. But let's see about voicemails.
Oh, a voicemail would be cool.
I just googled voicemails. Speakpipe.com. Speakpipe.com/3baka to send in a voicemail. And remember, it can be anything. Shit.
Just don't say, bears.
What was our password?
It was like password 123 or something.
2 weeks ago. Did we already...
Editor, cut that out.
Hold on.
Editor, replace that with password 1234.
Alright, load this one up in your MP3 player of choice.
How long ago did you say that was?
2 weeks ago?
You sure we haven't done this one yet?
I'm pretty sure we have. Yeah, it was the car's extended warranty one.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Alright. We do not have a voicemail.
For some reason, it displayed as a new voicemail, even though we've already listened to it.
That's super odd.
Good voicemail, though. Classic.
Yes, good voicemail. Will go down in history. Alright.
Alright. Well,
Bro,
I think
there's so many things I wish I talked about in the things we can't get into episode.
Yeah, we'll have to do a second one at some point.
I put in place of the doodle the Uberman sleep cycle, and I should have talked about sleep. I love the Uberman sleep cycle.
Is that enough? Is that it for this episode?
Yeah, I think we got it.
Alright, what do we do for the next one?
Alright, yeah, we gotta determine what are we doing.
What are we... Memes that need to die. Not actually. I suggested this most recent one, so this is on you guys.
Shit. Consoles versus PC was too good of a topic.
Yeah. We did kind of blow our load.
Gatekeeping and remakes.
Yeah.
Wait, did we do remakes?
We did adaptations. We didn't talk about... We just kind of talked about remakes as if they were adapting an old thing to a new thing, which is what they are.
Yeah.
So we kind of did remakes.
Yeah.
Is there anything, like, in particular that's, like, just been on our mind lately? Chris Chan.
Oh my god. The amount of time I could talk about fucking Chris Chan. Holy shit.
Do we want to do a Chris Chan episode?
No.
God, that's the perfect click farm, though.
No, I don't want to attract Chris Chan people to our.
I don't want to attract the type of people who obsess over the Chris Chan drama.
I don't even think of it as drama. I think of it as like a fucking reality TV show that just won't end. You know, that's how I'm thinking about it. So, it's happening to, a real person.
What was I gonna say? Fuck. You know, should we just come up with it off the episode? Cut this out.
Airing of Grievances podcast. Let's go.
Not yet.
No! That's for the breakup episode.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, you're right. Oh.
The episode where Sayu finally watches anime.
Yeah, what if we had an anime episode?
Yeah!
Fuck it! Anime!
Waifus!
You know, we could just generally talk about, like, anime stuff.
Anime culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, finally, on this anime podcast.
We could just talk about anime. You know what? No, let's hone in specifically. Let's talk about why old anime culture in the US was the best. I'm not talking like modern day, you get on your Twitter and you talk about My Hero. I'm talking like it's 2004, you see a shitty advertisement in your school's announcement block for an anime club, and you go to it and you start speaking pseudo-Japanese with a bunch of weirdos.
Could we carry like
That's
a 2000s anime culture episode?
Yes, that is exactly what we should do.
Alright, we'll try it.
The doodle can be the guy going, Garugamesh!
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alright, that's good then.
I guess I could just be like anime culture. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, that's good.
Alright.
We did it.
Yep.